Hey everyone, Scamtano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Tribulation album, Down Below. Tribulation is a Swedish metal band. This is their fourth full-length album. Last time I was talking about these guys, it was 2015 with their record, Children of the Night. The Children of the Night. Quite a spooky album title. To me, that album was a very solid, very above-average metal record. Even if I thought the band's style across the entire album was a little one note, Tribulation has a very solid sound. They blend in a kind of unique fashion, some blackened gothic metal with some subtle nods to heavy metal too. The vocals are a little run-of-the-mill, kind of standard black metal wretches, which most of the time come off more theatrical than abrasive. Their instrumentation always ran a little bland for me as well. However, it was really about the beautifully eerie songs that the band would spin. Tribulation just has this knack for wonderfully harmonious metal songs with a great sense of melody. But on this new album over here, that instrumentation is elevated a bit with some bells and whistles. Occasionally on this record, the band shifts the guitars, vocals, and drums into some pretty cinematic instrumentation, like at the finish of the 7-minute Here Be Dragons, which features the speedy, plinky arpeggio melodies. Could be a glockenspiel, not entirely sure. Either way, it sounds like something out of a John Carpenter movie. And the song Cries from the Underworld has some of the most beautiful guitar embellishments on the entire record, some pretty refined pianos. Really brings that gothic feel, makes me want to light up my fucking candelabra, but I don't own one, so I'm going to settle for my St. Anthony Fantano candle. Yeah, this is real. What the hell is it to you? Gotta do it quick. I don't light candles that often. There we go. Got that sucker. You guys should pray that I don't give your favorite album a 6. All right, there we go. So there's some fantastic little extra instrumental bits on this album. However, in my opinion, in some ways they are too few and far between, or at least they're not changing up the band's core sound so much that this album feels refreshing enough for me. Because for me, Down Below feels like a second helping of the somewhat more condensed sound that the band was bringing on their last album. Sure, there are some extra creepy instrumental bits on here like Purgatorio, which is a pretty nice instrumental breather in the middle of the album. And I love the soaring horror movie synths that pull off a fantastic solo and fill up some of the instrumental gaps in the second half of the song LACRIMOSA. There's a bit of a gothic piano send-off that brings the track to a close too. But for the most part, the band still writes and performs in this kind of mild, very mid-paced, very melodic black metal style. And this album does feature at least some of the group's weakest material to date. Between the galloping beat and the sweet noodly guitar leads that play throughout much of the song, The World has to be the most drab song the band has recorded ever. And what is the mixing on this track? The guitars don't feel that powerful and the vocals are barely audible. I feel like the mixing leaves a lot to be desired on the closing track too. You know, there are just some spots on this thing where I just wish the performances, the way they played these songs was a bit more wild and animalistic, maybe a little out of control. Still though, I can't complain too much because the band's reserved approach to performance and writing is not the worst thing in the world. It's always nice to get a contemporary metal band that emphasizes songwriting and melody over pure rage. And while the style of the songs on this album do feel very, very similar to that of their last record, I will say the tunes here are a bit more ambitiously structured thanks to this influx of extra instrumentation, with the band building a lot of these songs out with some very beautiful and gothic guitar solos and piano passages. The end result being that the songs on this thing feel grand, dramatic, occasionally epic. And truth be told, this is most likely going to be one of the better gothic metal records you're going to hear this year. There are certainly more hits than misses on this thing. I just can't help but feel that even though I like this band's sound generally, and I like a lot of their songs generally, there's just kind of that extra excitement or spark that isn't quite there, whether it be coming from, I don't know, a lack of uniqueness in their sound, or just a lack of energy or electricity in the way that they perform these tracks. Just this nagging feeling that while what I'm hearing here is good, that the band is just capable of so much more. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this thing. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Just leave a thoughtful comment in the comments if you're feeling full of thoughts. Click on the video next to my head or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano forever.